missing persons and individuals making missing person videos pertaining to, say, children that somehow became lost or whatever the situation is. What makes me so different than the majority of these individuals and even their identity pertaining to square footage and all the rest? What makes me an individual so different than the majority of these people? There's in fact something that makes me different than the majority of people sitting around on YouTube making videos pertaining to missing children, and them not even deciphering further, as in a continuation, a cycle once it's been started, as in you go on, you just don't regurgitate. So why am I different? I've been born different. So to be born different is in fact lead and not follow. Like, how crazy would that be on my end to say, question, well, how does that happen that a child goes missing at that time, and yet not ask more than that? See where I'm exactly about to show you where I'm standing at. I'm about to show you just enough how different I am. I want you to pay attention, because I pay attention to a lot of things. See what is behind me? You may or not be able to see that sort of vehicle that is standing behind me. See the name of that on that right there? This is in fact right across the street from where I live at. Remember when I stated that houses are being built? Sorry about the light. When I stated that houses are in fact being built nearby me, what type of individual would I be? I'm saying, even in that sense, in a sense, will be somewhat crazy for me that a child has went missing, and knowing many of us have construction and all the rest being built nearby us, just enough to pay attention as it's being done. Yes, I in fact took it upon myself to walk even over here, as say they were pulling and unearthing the earth. Why wouldn't I? It's right across the street. That's surefire right there, as in my mind, as in me being able to scope and even question and analyze that, of say the machinery of what it takes and digging up stuff. You see that? Look at that. That is in fact used right now as in the process, the building process of building homes. And not only that, when I walk across the street, I can show you how far they dug, even going across the street, peeping even that out, as in the scene as it's taking place, because I came over here a few days ago to even scope that out, as in the process of how things are done in a particular reason, as in the form and the fashion, even that. How far would you even need to go and say building, or even going deep into the ground layer by layer? That type of thing, information would in fact need to be needed and trying to piece together and solving a missing person's case. I'm not about to sit on anybody's thing and make a whole bunch of videos and not even delve deeper pertaining to that. You see that? Look at all that. How far, how deep, how wide, how much the angular, how much dirt is taken out. That in fact makes me different than the majority of these people, as I stated before. And yet people get mad how much dirt was pulled out. People get mad at me scoping and analyzing, as in the questioning. See the wood pieces down there? Did you see that? Yes, that's all the fact of what they're using as in their tools and performance. And not only that, what is so completely weird, I talked to my mom about this the other day. Remember, the eyewitnesses said that they seen Asia degree, yes, at 1.3 miles specifically, right? Where I live at, in one of the very first walks my mom take every single morning is 1.3 miles away. And she didn't even know that until I said, wait a minute. I said, hold up. I calculated. Yes, I did. I calculated her walk. Because even I need to know where my mom is wanting to walk as she's leaving in the morning time. I need to know that sort of thing. Mom, where are you going? What time did you leave? What time are you coming back? I need to know all that. So when I put in the address to find out how far she was walking, it in fact matched Asia's where she was seen as in the sighting. Not the actual location, but I'm saying the actual mileage. And I thought that was so weird. Like, how is where we like to go, how is that in fact, yes, store location, all that other stuff, how does that match 1.3 miles in a whole different state? Myself, looking at this Asia degree case where even she was sighted seen at 1.3 miles. My mom was like, yeah, she was freaked out, and even that. See how specific I am? That makes me to even say, well, Mom, when are you coming back? What time are you coming back? Because even grown people get snatched. And people not paying attention as them being mindful of even what they're doing as they're doing it. Taking walks by themselves and stuff like that early in the morning. So yes, where I live at, going where she walks every single morning, my mother is 1.3 miles. Where she stopped at is calculated precisely 1.3 miles. And then she has to turn around and come back. And that's 1.3 miles coming back. See what I'm saying? That's a little bit too far for even a little girl. I'm saying an analyzation. That's too far for even a little girl to take it upon herself to walk out the four walls of her house at night and walk even that far in the dark. I'm saying that sort of thing could not have played out. Because if I am not the only one looking at this and I got my mom paying attention to certain things pertaining to mileage. See, it was my ideal for my mom to even walk that far from the beginning. See what I'm saying? That was in fact my ideal for my mom to walk. I said, how about you walk from here down to there and turn around and come back seeming you want to lose weight? But that was my ideal and not hers. So to talk about something in analyzation, even to performance, or say your mother, your own parent taking a walk, is even that in itself. I'm saying a scientific clue of being able to break down where even your own mother should walk and come back and not be crossing the street and crossing all this and all that. You see what I'm saying? And so for me, I was like, wait a minute, let me see how far she's going down. I need to know what time she's leaving, as well as because where we live at is one of the most busiest streets. Yes, it is. I'm right out here in the suburban area and not more so in the city, but it still can be continued city, because as you can hear the wind going past me, cars and all that are prone to blow wind. Yes, they do. They help pick up wind. And even that, I'm sure you can hear cars maybe or maybe not driving past, and even that, right? But for me to tell my mom, okay, once you get down there, you're going to turn back around, right? And you are going to come back. And I can even tell you how long it's going to take. I tell my mom all this, how long it's going to take for you to get down there. And I said, wait a minute. As I was going to the store, I'm like, hold up. So I got on Google, yes, Google directions, and actually put in the address, as well as that's the starting point and the point coming back home. And I'm like, wait a minute, that right there, the 1.3 miles. See, that's what I'm saying, the connection aspect. People, anytime you try to solve something pertaining to letting the police do whatever they do, and say you are a viewer sitting back watching, or even FBI, is to put yourself in the situation of the connection aspect. Remember, we're all humans. So to live across the street from a construction field that are building homes is for me to take it upon myself and say, okay, how deep and wide is that ditch or whatever they're making a hole to place wood into so that they can gather up whatever to place a home on top? How are they doing that? And not only that, I need to record this on video for other people to see the process as it's being done. That is very vital, important information. You see what I'm saying? Because that information, the structure of the home is in fact a home, right? But wherever they was doing wherever her bag was found in that situation, wherever that happened, and the process of that could in fact be a roadway and not a home. You see what I'm saying? So for me to show you, and you to be able to rewind back and pause and rewind back to how open the actual ground level is for them to be able to build that home. Even a lady running the blog over there of being able to see, well, okay, a bulldozer over here was used on my end, but they said that a grader machine was used over on that side where Asia Degree's bag was found. There's a humanly connection in that. That will be totally a foolish part on my end to see that construction of homes, brand new homes. There's only 2 houses that sit here, but there, you see all this dirt behind me? Look at that. All that area right there is going to be completely homes. They started this process around September or so 2016. Look at all that area behind me, that land. Those are in fact going to include lands. I mean, they're going to include homes. All this land right here is going to include that. So I have to be a part of even that process of understanding, well, what is on these homes, such as the make and the model of pertaining to, is there a permit on there? And it in fact says the contractor's name. I said that. I had to know what kind of machinery was used. That in fact was a bulldozer, and I just showed you that at the beginning of the video. Because to align some pieces together is to just not walk past something. That's crazy. You want to know, in fact, what is everything on this actual land that is taking place as it's being built. Even police, FBI would know even that. There has to be something more there than which is described, maybe even, say, in a report pertaining to them, say, building, whoever was over the land, even the contractor, superintendent over the land and all that other stuff. They got terminal boxes. You see that? You got, yeah, deep in the ground for wiring and all that other stuff. That type of stuff you have to try to decipher in your mind what could have taken place. There's orange markers all around me. And see, there's even a dead end right there. That is in fact a dead end. This right here, this area, because no lighting right here, gets fully, completely pitch black. And I mentioned that in my other video. It's almost being like next to woods, because as I go around behind me, see that? Those are in fact tree area, which could be considered wooded area because you can't see on the other side of it in the daytime as well as in the night. Right there, see that right there? That dead end? All that is in fact wood in itself. If I walk to it, you will be able to even see that it's wood in itself. As I walk down here, it is in fact nothing that lay beyond these trees. But people don't want to do this sort of thing. They would rather, I'm saying the girls that put on the hair and makeup and want to look cute in the video. There's nothing pretty about this type of thing in which I'm showing you, and yet I in my past in fact worked for FedEx and other places that is more of a masculine, more of an intelligent role. It helps to use your brain. How many times have I stated that? You have to have intellect in order to package products and all that on even a FedEx truck, because even align those boxes the wrong way is to know once the semi take up off the line, as in going down on a highway, is to know even packages can fumble and fall everywhere, and that being shipped, the process. So see this dirt? This is in fact dirt pulled up and being marched on by a bulldozer. I'm wondering why they wouldn't have used a grader. Possibly because, more than likely because we ain't in farm area. So you got to understand that too. Depending on the city, location, or where houses are going to be built. Where I'm at is suburban area, but it's more so city than anything, right? We got a sewer line. So depending on where you're at, even in building, out in the country would more than likely have a grader machine. Because see, that as well as tractors could be used to be carried down the road, I'm saying in vehicle fashion. All they got to do is take a orange or a yellow, is it orange or yellow? How they stick it on the back and you see them driving down the road, it's like a wide load. The equipment and all that they use out in the country, they would in fact put something on the back of that to show and express to you that that is in fact a wide load. So you got to be careful in even driving around it. But see, right here where I live at is more city, so you won't ever see a grader machine coming down this way, because for a road to even get down to 2 lanes is to say you only got that middle divider lane, and that's too much, taking up too much room if a grader was to do that, which is why they use grader machines more so out in the country than here in the city, because it's too big. I'm walking right here. See, as you look right here, then I say I was gonna come down here. I know what I'm talking about. When people try to say, well, I'm not gonna go down any further because that can be water, and I'm not trying to stick my foot in nobody's pond. But look at all that. You can't see. So if I myself was running out and say this was a Highway 18 and I ran into something like that, I may or may not be coming back out. I may or may not be coming out, because to be exposed to this type of wooded type of place right across the street from where I'm living at, it's to say you might get trapped in those sort of things. And if you look down, sometimes shrubs or whatever that is, your footing can get caught in even that. So yes, did you see that? Did I show you all that? The trees, how far up the trees extend. The lighting could be messing up because of the sun. That in fact made my camera zap out the other day as I was showing stuff, because to let something sit under sun like that is to actually overpower the battery, and your device would in fact cut off, as in shut off, which is what mine did. See, I don't know what all this is right here. This is just a hot mess. I don't think they're gonna build houses right here, or maybe they are. But this is gonna be a long process, as in it may take a few years. If they got started in 2016, I don't even know how long the housing process is gonna be over here. I just watch it. I watch it. Discovery Communications, Discovery Inc. Yes, owner operator of Discovery Channel, as well as the Oprah Winfrey Network. The links are provided below. That's abstraction in itself. Yes, of even where I meet your eyes, right here in the daytime. Let me walk over here. I just see, I'm not trying to see, somebody was offended when I said that I was brilliant, but I said FBI know that they're in fact brilliant. Why, if you see stuff and see life a certain way, why wouldn't you in fact allow other people to know? Because see, to say that you're brilliant is to believe that sort of thing, as in, well, as show people your knowledge enough to teach them, even if you're wrong. We all, because see, to know that you're brilliant at something is to know you're not going to always be right. You're not. And even teachers that teach classrooms, or professors, or whoever, they know they're not right at times, which is why students are there to in fact correct them on that sort of thing. That's common sense as well, right? Missing persons, I could be completely wrong, but the difference is I'm willing to actually put myself out there enough to show you what could have happened, what might not have happened, what could, whatever, you know what I'm saying? As well as show certain things on my end and my experience of just that. See, right here is actually a, what is this? It's like a, what would you consider that? See the water? You can even see the ducks and everything else. If somebody wanted to, say, live around here where I live at, they could more than likely, if they wanted to, if they was crazy, possibly kill somebody or even me and dump the body in a trash bag or something and put it right over there and let it sink in the water. Something crazy. You hear all type of stories, right? Which is why I myself have to get in on even that of, maybe I shouldn't even be this close to this area at night myself, and I don't. And I more than likely never will be, because to have water this close and say get in an argument with somebody or something in the middle of the night, and to say a body could even be found there, such as mine. And so to leave that alone is just to leave it alone. But look at that water though. See that? Yes. Being observant to the things are which around you, you know, things that are around you, and what they could be used for. That could be used for anything. That body of water. Didn't I say oftentimes black folks back in the day, they used to say, yes they did, back in the 70s and all that, how they said black folks were like inferior. They said the black race was inferior, as in we have irrational fears. Somebody like myself or somebody else black would in fact fear living next to that sort of thing, because they just don't never know. Who would put a dead body right there, sink it on down and let it go to the bottom where it can never be found? And I even asked that about Asia Degree when I said, well, was there a body of water anywhere found around where her bag and all that? Because to have water like that close to me, it's a question, even that sort of thing of, could her body have been tied to a cinder block, any type of weighted thing, substance matter of which may not float, and yet can still carry a child's body if it's tied to, say, anything with her body, and say a bag or body just tied to it. Say a person take and they tie, I don't know, rope around a person's ankle or something, because that has been done before. Yes, it has, pertaining to children in the past. You can even look that up. Say a child, there was in fact a mother that, yes, killed her child, killed her little son, put his body in a suitcase. I think he was like 2 or 3 years old. Put his body in a suitcase, zip the suitcase up, throw it in a pond or lake or whatever the water matter was, and let his body sink down. Police had to literally go into that water and get it up, because remember, once a body go down like that, it's not going to come back up. It's weighted. And especially more so in a suitcase, because yes, sometimes dead bodies float, but to have it in something that can be weighted, as in no air or nothing getting in, is for a suitcase to just go down there in the water and just sit and more likely never be found. But she came out, the woman ended up coming out. Yes, she's a white lady. I think she's from Australia or somewhere. I can't even remember. But she came out and said, I watched it on YouTube, what she ended up doing. I'm thinking to myself, that is off the hook, to be a mother and do that. She was the child's mother and not the child's friend or anything like that. She confessed it, everything. So there was a lot of different videos in which I had analyzed myself pertaining to many of these parents brutally killing their own children and then confessing later on that they have did that sort of thing. I'm like, are you serious? So why would you want to have a child and then just throw it away? You could have gave the child away, because remember, there's millions of people out here, and possibly billions, that can't even have their own child. So see, to recognize something is to see. When you no longer want something, that child can in fact become secondhand. And I don't mean in a cheap way, but you give your child off to somebody that could want the child, that they can't lay and actually prosper in the realm of having their own babies. You give them up for adoption or something. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm saying that water in which I just showed you a little bit ago, somebody could literally tie a cinder block or something to the child's body and allow that to be sinking matter and not floating matter, as in that child's body going all the way down and possibly still being there and not floating, because a tie a rope to a child's ankles or something and throw a cinder block or whatever in the water is to have that child be there as well. Yes, I was peeping all these videos out of these parents. I'm like, you mean to tell me, okay, wait a minute. You mean to tell me you go and you lay down and get pregnant by somebody that may or may not be a part of the picture, and you have his baby and you a mother, and then you just say, I'm done with this. I don't want no more kids, and I don't even want this child, and so I'm gonna throw them away. And then you put the baby in a suitcase, 2-3-year-old baby in a suitcase, and kill, first of all, kill the baby first, and then throw the baby in the pond or lake or whatever it was and let the baby sink. And then confess later on for the police to come back and actually get the baby out of the water. No telling how much the baby has decomposed after that. That woman didn't have no type of remorse or anything. I sat watching that video like I'm in disbelief. She had no remorse, right? So I kind of was in disbelief, and no, I'm not judging her, but I just kind of was like in disbelief. Like, what was the point of you even being in labor for how many hours because that's a sign of working. I mean, I just don't understand the process of that. That was like a loose screw or something on the end of the mother of which I'm speaking of. Not Asia Degrees, but the lady that killed her son and then decided to throw it in the water. Like, what was the point of getting pregnant? So you had to go through all type of pains leading up to that, as well as labor pains leading up to that. Not only that, leading to pains of even raising the child, which will make you want to kill the child for whatever reason, and then do that sort of thing when you know adoption is out here as part of the process and giving up something at birth. Why not give a child away while you're just making your way out of the delivery room, is what I'm asking. Instead of killing. See, parents got all type of ways, and I'm not saying Asia Degree. Parents, I did not say that. No. I'm using other people for an excuse of even children. The percentage is going up in parents murdering their children is what I'm trying to say. And to scope even that out, even being with Discovery, yes, it's to see just that. What is the reason? You got some parents that in fact murder their kids because they don't have enough money as to allow ends to be met, as in meeting ends. But there's foster care in that. Letting somebody else raise your kids and letting whatever take care of that financially, right? That just don't seem right. Stuff just be off the hook. Yes, it does. And so I can understand why anybody want to get mad at me for coming out saying anything, because I do things once again spontaneously in a form of fashion of making you, even the viewer, see, despite the wind hitting this microphone, making you even see and pay attention to things you might have not. As in, when you see a house is being built, or many of them, and you're watching the Asia Degree case, it's to go out there yourself on the actual land when, say, the workers are gone, because they are in fact gone, and looking at the land as in the process. Or if you say are off of work and say you're seeing them doing that, you can even possibly walk up to one of the workers. I was going to do that the other day, and I ended up going to the store, but I still came back out here while they were working. They wouldn't be bothered by that. None of these construction workers would in fact be bothered by that, because see, many of them could in fact be a contractor, subcontractor, superintendent, whatever, watching the actual process as it being laid, as in foundation, whatever, and they wouldn't be bothered if you walk up and ask them a few questions, because an inquisitive mind wants to know, even if you're not working construction. You see what I'm saying? He might think you have an interest in that sort of thing, or that you might have a son or daughter that you might want to get in that into construction work or something. So he's not going to be bothered. Some people are even fearful and timid, and even that, asking people, well, I see that you're building a home, so how long does it take, as in the years? Is it a long process? Is it months? When you guys dig, how long do you actually go for, as in the day digging? Can't be fearful in that, because you never know what you might in fact learn from somebody that might be the manager standing there, just watching the process. This bulldozer is right next to me, and I was watching them the other day do all type of stuff with it. Like, man, that's John Deere right there. Usually John Deere is green, but see, these is old. I'm saying the much more newer vehicles. See that? That's a big old piece of machinery. In fact, that's what that is. I ask questions and sometimes get on people's nerves in the process. And yet I want to prove to them even sometimes how smart I can be, because when two minds have something in common, as in being a builder and yet I don't build, but scientifically I build stuff and letting you see certain things with your mind, as in TV and film. The operation of that's a building process. Writing scripts, knowing you got to sell it, and marketing and all that other stuff, that's building. That's layer upon layer. That's layer upon layer, just like people that build houses and stuff like that. I couldn't build no house because it gets too hot out here. Matter of fact, I'm on my way back because it's hot. And not only that, the wind is blowing. So I just wanted to show you that. And then the sun is getting on my nerves as well. I can't even see which direction I'm even looking into the camera. I just wanted to show you that. I want to show you. I want to open and expand even your mind pertaining to learning. Don't look at something that's surface and think that there is all that is to that sort of thing. There is something much more. A bulldozer that is off the hook. And they're only working with one bulldozer. I would think there will be multiple bulldozers. But to build and tear up one thing at a time is to just have one thing out there. I kind of am in question of what all was the machinery out on the scene. Say when Asia's degree bag went and was discovered up unearthed or whatever with that grater machine. How many machines was out there as that was taking place? And not only that, how if that sort of thing could be seen from the road, as in weeks before or months before somebody did that whole process of considering burying that child's bag. That type of thing I'll be wanting to know. I be wanting to know because see, it's all type of crazy people all around us. But see, to investigate even on my end and sciences, right? Dear investigation discovery, the link is provided below. You have to see and know. Because stuff as in crime, certain things just don't add up. And if it's being committed like by black people, this lighting is really getting on my nerves. I can't see. I can't see. But even if the crime is being committed by, say, black people murdering other black people, even family members, it's making us look bad. And I stated that. So I think that's all to be said about that. If you got what I said or you need to re-see what I already said, then just rewind the tape. As in press pause and rewind it back. So hopefully you enjoy your day. I got to get out this sun because I don't like sun. And not only that, I don't take too well to sun like this. So that's all to be said, and I'm gone.